The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.
We're thrilled to have back on the show an incredible band from the 90s that all of us know, but also now they're surging again, 2023 with their last album, 2024. I've got McBride and The Ride with Ray, Billy, and Terry. I can't believe I got all three of you on for the show. How did this work out?
Just we wanted to come see you, Eric.
Divine intervention.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir, man.
Yeah, you know, and once again, as I mentioned when we opened up, you guys had a great come out in 2023 with Marlboros and Avon, but now you've got these new singles coming out with a new live album, and I understand no expense was spared on where this was recorded.
That's right. I happen to have a club that worked out perfectly for this.
He's not proud of it, as you can tell. Yeah.
So, and you have the T-shirt.
I have the shirt.
Yeah.
To prove all about it. So we did 2 shows at Handlebar back, about 3 months ago?
Yeah, February,
2 months
I
ago.
think.
Yeah. And 2 shows. We recorded it to multi-track, thinking we'll just have this, and we got to listening to it and said, you know, we want to do another project. Let's do a live record. This sounds so good.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So we'd never done that. So that's why we decided to do it and release the first single. Matter of fact, it just came out not long ago.
Yeah, Amarillo Sky.
Amarillo Sky.
And, you know, and I'll tell you what blows me away on it. Obviously, the other track, you know, dropped in July, but it's like the harmonies. You know, I was kidding you guys, too, on it, to where it's like, all three of you incredible musicians, kind of a super group, if you don't mind me calling you that, for your songwriting and everybody else you've played with and still play with musically, but also the harmonies that just fell together when you guys sing. And on Amarillo Sky, it's just, I'm listening to it and I feel like I'm seeing you guys in concert.
Well, good.
First of all, thank you for saying what you said. Second of all, it's a really natural thing. When we got back together in 2023, it's like one of those things where we looked at each other and went, there's the sound.
We're bringing them back.
That's
We're bringing those
there's the
harmonies back.
sound. So.
Yeah, but I got to bring this up too, Terry, to where it's got to be odd for you guys. You know, certainly having you know, diverse careers. I'm going to talk about each of you on who you're playing with and your songwriting and all. But now, you know, 90s music is back, and you've even got a lot of these young artists going, yeah, I want to sound like the 90s. What's that like, Terry?
Well, we're just thrilled we survived it. It was pretty crazy back in the day.
Right.
You know, we were doing, if you were having some success in the 90s, there were all kinds of opportunities. And we took advantage of a lot of that, you know, from movies we were able to be part of to, you know, Macy's Day Parade, you know, things that were just, you had no idea you were going to be part of something like that. So it was great. But the respect and, you know, this interest that we get from some of these younger artists, it feels great. I mean, it's cool that, you know, maybe, you know, our music did, you know, touch somebody, inspired someone. That's what you hope might happen. So it's a good feeling for sure.
And I got to bring this up too. You look at this to where 35th anniversary for McBride and the Ride, and here's where you guys killed me on, 30th anniversry for 8 Mile. It's like, I remember when that movie came out, it's like the rodeo album, and you guys look familiar, like a band that was on that movie. And were you on there for a full 8 seconds?
Well, we tell people we're in the movie for 8 seconds, but we're in there, but only for about 6 seconds. So yeah,
we didn't fall off.
Yeah, but your song.
It lives on for sure.
And you guys were all over Nashville, all over the country and the world when that movie came out.
Yeah, we got the lead single from that soundtrack. And, you know, back then, everything was happening. Soundtracks were huge and movies were popular, and that was no exception. That movie was real sweet and tender. I saw it recently with my youngest daughter, and it's still a great story.
It holds up.
It really is. These younger audience has found it and embraced it, and they love it. And so, yeah, it's great to be, you know, even our short little bit in there. We thought we were going to be movie stars. We figured it would lead to some dramatic roles, but no, that did not happen. But
we kind of left the movie industry wanting more.
Well, but I mean, but it's so cool though to have a piece in that.
Yeah.
You know, visually, you know, all joking aside, but also the music with the lead track.
Yeah.
Big deal. Because
No More Crying. That was the second
No More
single
Crying.
off
To
the
where you
CD.
guys were everywhere on the radio. You know, any place, I mean, pushing this movie.
It was a fun time.
And it still holds up with, you know, all fans.
And that little portion took about 16 hours. You know, that was the movie business.
Yes.
It's
a
totally
little
different.
bit different than going in the recording studio.
It was a lot like
Hurry up and wait.
a lot like our videos, though. A lot long process. But we did spend the day with Luke Perry and Stephen Baldwin. Lane Frost's wife was there. Tuff Hedeman was on the set as an advisor, you know. So it was very cool. Something we wanted to do, and I'm glad we did.
And you might not recognize us as the same people because we all had mullets back. So that may have changed.
It was the look.
It was the
which is
look.
funny now. All the young people now, all the young artists are now doing it again. I'm like going, really? Who would survive that once?
Who would have thought?
You know, it's all
there,
coming
done that.
back, Billy. You know,
that's right.
sooner or later. Well, and I've got to bring this up too. You know, you guys were kind of discovered, you know, or put together as friends by Tony Brown because of each of your unique songwriting things. And we were talking too, you know, with Ray. You know, you've certainly been out with Lyle Lovett and everything, and your songwriting, and Billy with Vince Gill, and with the Time Jumpers here in town on a regular basis, and then Terry, you know, with Delbert McClinton and Fogerty. I hope it works out for Fogerty. I think there's still a good chance with this tour he's doing, but you know.
Well, through Delbert, I got exposed to some wonderful stuff and a lot of other things too.
And also Brooks and Dunn.
Well, those guys took me in and really saved me for sure. Yeah, that gave me somewhere to go for about 13 years.
But each of you have these gigs, and then you're also doing McBride The Ride. Why? Why come back together?
Why?
I mean, but I mean, you got the hit songs, but I mean, why does it feel right to do it again?
We did this in 2002 along with Matt Rawlings. We did a record called Amarillo Sky, right? And we recorded it out at Matt's studio in Franklin and had just the best time. And that was already about 6 or 7 years after we had the first time had gotten together and called it quits and got back together and decided, let's do this again. So unfortunately at the time, Amarillo Sky, we wanted that to be a hit. We knew it was a great song.
that was the lead single.
It didn't happen. So, you know, that album had a lot of great songs on it. And then so we kind of went back our separate ways for a while. And then I saw Terry out at the Musical Instrument Museum in Phoenix, which is a great museum. He was doing a solo show a few years ago. And he called me up on stage and we did Sacred Ground together. Billy wasn't there, unfortunately.
No, I was hitchhiking on I-40.
Trying to get to Phoenix.
Yeah, trying to
that's
get
a song.
Yeah, write that down.
But I told Terry, I'm like, man, while we're still able and young enough to do this, why are we not doing this? We should do this again. So we called Billy, got Billy back, you know, had to get him kicking and screaming.
And we've always stayed in touch. It wasn't like it was just random, you know. We've always talked and we've run into each other. We've been in touch all that time. But we thought, you know, this is something we always enjoyed. What do you think? And so, like Billy said, when we got together, it was just like that first time we had the rehearsal at SIR. We got together. Once we started singing, you know, Ray's got that baritone voice, and Billy's the high harmony guy you hope to have in your band. And then when we started practicing and rehearsing, well, that was a bonus. We weren't expecting that really, that blend, which just doesn't normally or naturally happen for everybody. It did for us for whatever reason, and these guys are great at that harmony. Fortunately, I'm singing the lead. I don't have to find those parts because it's not easy sometimes.
It just naturally happened. And
they know how to do it, and together we always figure out what we want to do.
You know, and you know what it sounds to me also, guys? It sounds like family harmonies. When I listen to your songs, you know, certainly from your earlier albums and your hits and everything, and the new live tracks, it sounds like family harmonies to where it's like, and once again, kind of interesting facts to where all three of you were kind of child prodigies also, you know, from TV shows and you know, growing up as musicians, growing up around musicians. You guys were all involved in that, and then melding together as a musical family with McBride The Ride. It seems like it was kind of meant to happen.
That's what Tony Brown was always great at, putting people together in sessions and things like that.
Or dinner party.
Or a dinner party.
That's the way he was.
He just had that mojo, you know, to put people together, and that's what he did. He knew me from Lyle. He knew I wanted to do something besides Lyle. He knew I wanted to do something more on, you know, some other level, and he called me one day out of the blue and said, hey, I met this guy in Austin that's got some great songs, and I think it'd be a great direction for a band. Would you be interested in doing it? I said, let me think. Okay. And so
with him.
Right.
So we all play. So we've all played on these records all these years and sang on them. It's not like studio guys that they would call in, you know, to play on the records. We actually played on the records ourselves.
And that's very different, especially for Nashville. A lot of people don't realize that. The younger musicians think, oh yeah, you play. It's like, no, that's not the way Nashville was.
Exactly.
You know, that you guys were actually incredible session musicians and songwriters, and were able to play on your own albums. That's different.
And that was a trusted thing. Tony trusted all of us individually to play on all these records. And I remember when he was casting, you could see something coming together, and we all felt excited. We knew when he put us in this room with a guy named Steve Fischel, who was originally going to be the fourth, but opted to co-produce the first album with Tony. Wow. I mean, you could feel it coming together, and then the way it worked out, it just started it came together and the glue was there.
Yeah.
The right stuff.
And then we take these songs on the road. About 200 dates later, a year, we were well rehearsed. You know, so that's what we did. We spent a lot of time trying these new tunes out on the road, getting the reaction, seeing what the response was going to be, and then by the time we got ready for the album, we do some pre-production as well. Get together and whoever's co-producing along with Tony. But yeah, it worked out really well. It's still what we're doing now, same process.
But you guys also always look so cool, because I was bringing this up, telling people, yeah, I've got McBride The Ride coming in the studio, all three of the guys, but it's like the music videos. Back in the day when you guys were doing those, it was kind of cutting edge at the time.
Oh, it was so new.
And McBride The Ride was at the forefront of it, because I just remember seeing you guys going, I know, I know these guys.
Our second video launched our first hit.
Yeah.
The video was so popular that it really pressured radio to go, damn it, we've got to play this song now. We're getting too many people are calling for it. And really, that's what happened, because we'd already been through a couple singles that didn't do great, and then the label's kind of going, I'm not sure. And then this video, this tender, sweet, simple little love story kind of video took off, because, like you said, videos were so popular back in the day. It was like all new for country. I mean, MTV had been at the game for quite some time, but it was a big, we'd roll into town and people would go, whoa, we've seen the video. You're like, wow, this is crazy.
You remember, they were quite expensive back in the
very.
days.
I mean, it was like doing a mini film. Billy.
Yeah, exactly.
It
We're
wasn't
still
like
trying
nowadays.
to recoup 30 years later. We're just on the verge of recouping.
One of the videos we did, besides, I was going to say the No More Crying video, we went out to LA and shot the video for No More Crying with the late Sherman Halsey, who was a great video.
Oh, yeah, he did
gosh,
several of our videos.
And then we went to Mexico and shot on kind of illegally.
Ishmael.
But Ishmael, it was one of the pyramids for just one night.
I think we paid some people to look the other way while we crawled and scaled the. Oh, it was with our jam box.
That is incredible.
Oh, yeah, we weren't even supposed to be a holy ground. Oh, my gosh.
And there you are with the jam box.
Oh, my
jam box on the pyramid.
Okay, shoot now. There's no security.
And Miss California is the love interest for all three, I think. We weren't even sure what was happening in that video. It was like, are we all in love with her, or is it me? It was crazy.
Fun.
Oh,
I mean, especially to be able to come back together as friends now.
Fun. Yeah.
And certainly, you guys have had your own individual careers, but to be able to put out the new EP live, the full EP coming out in October, I got to ask, are you guys working on new songs for another album next year?
We
Always.
are. Exactly. We want to keep that process going. We've got plenty of friends that we bring in, and or just as well alone ourselves, we can do whatever we want, creatively. And yeah, that's the process. We've got this live album, something we've never had. There's a lot of energy that wasn't really captured in the studio, because it's certain. It's different than being out on that stage.
And you guys are live musicians.
Yeah, we want to give our audience and people who may not even have heard us a chance to see kind of what we're about, other than just those big ballads they might be familiar with from the 90s, So
I like more of your honky-tonk stuff. I'm not against big ballads, but I mean, I think where McBride The Ride shines most is the honky-tonk music.
And we have a lot of that on this live EP.
Right.
So we started, the first few singles being kind of up-tempo and and a few hits on there as well.
And we did some from the last EP. I mean, Webb Pierce, Honky Tonk Song.
Right.
I mean, we've been doing that song since '91.
Yeah, I hope it works out for Webb.
Yeah, oh man.
So close.
Absolutely.
But I mean, you guys move in those circles.
Oh yeah, we want to,
And how incredible, and I know you're looking at possibly, I think it'd be great if you guys would play the Sphere or a major gig out in Vegas.
I do too.
Residency.
That would be
It
wonderful.
seems like you guys could really set up pretty easy and maybe invite friends in.
Yeah.
You could just have,
Perfect.
Lyle would come through, Vince would come
That'd be
through.
great.
You could bring Brooks and Dunn, just, friends joining McBride The Ride.
I love it.
In Las Vegas.
Maybe there's a smaller Sphere we could start at. I don't know.
Maybe I could come out and report on you guys there.
I wish you would.
Live from
I think this is
the
great.
smaller Sphere.
From the parking lot of Caesars or something. I don't know. We'll put a tent up to see how it goes.
I know you guys are going to be brought in though especially for like the rodeo shows and everything too.
Yeah,
we were talking
want
about
to.
PBR and everything going
Yeah.
out
That
there.
would be great.
Yeah.
You were talking about country music, and it made me think. I'm the kind of the rock and roller coming into this.
Yes, you are.
These guys are steeped in it. So you've got, if we don't write it, they're always looking for something to me from the past.
Yeah.
And they find these gems, and when you talk honky tonk, I've got introduced to so many songs that I didn't know.
But I think you have to take credit, Billy, also because I think with your rock background too,
Well, yeah, it's another side.
that's what really makes McBride and The Ride come together because you've got the rock, the country, you've got everything mixed in there.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would be the same without the three of you.
Well, we all were influenced by everything from ZZ Top to Aerosmith. You know, that's the
Right.
era we grew up
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
But I was also listening to Buck Owens and Merle Haggard and George
And besides
Jones when I
being
was a
featured
kid.
on, you know, Phoenix TV shows.
Yeah, when I was a kid.
Can't let that slip by
He's
there.
done his homework for us.
Well, I'll tell you what, and also, when you go see McBride and the Ride live, you might even see a brand new Fender Waylon Jennings Telecaster out on the road, which will have its own handler carrying it to the stage and off the stage.
One of
Great.
70 in the world.
One of
made.
70.
I don't know how I was blessed to get
and
one.
Jesse
but-
Coulter even approved.
Yes.
So you're going to carry that with a chain? Like
I am.
It's going to be like the Blues Brothers.
Handcuffed to the neck. Yeah, exactly.
Might be a good idea.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's incredible to have you guys back together again. The live EP coming out in full in October. There's a single dropping almost every month. Amarillo Sky, probably my personal favorite right now. But go back and also watch the movie 8 Mile. You're going to see these guys on it, hear the music. And where's the best place for the website, social media, everything, McBride and the Ride? Because I know our viewers want to see you guys play live.
McBrideTheRide.com, that'll get you to our website, you know, with tour dates and everything we're doing. And then we're all over socials, McBride and the Ride. You can find us out there, whatever you like to, you know, scroll through. But
And for the Las Vegas and Sphere dates also.
yeah, those are,
And the old Handlebar
We'll
J.
keep you
Handlebar
posted.
J.
Come and join us.
Yeah, I mean, and what an incredible historical place there too.
It
Great
is.
to have
It's
that.
50 years in my family. I own it now. And it's a great place for us to go out west when we're looking for a place to play.
And a great place to record live.
Great place to do a live record.
Certainly worked out well for
Well,
us.
I'll tell you
for
what,
sure.
Ray, Billy, and Terry, McBride and the Ride. Check out the website, go to the social media, add this EP, add the singles and everything to your playlist. Go see them live, though, and I can't wait to hear more new music. You guys sound just as fresh now as you did when you kicked off in the early 90s.
Thanks, Eric.
And it's great
Pleasure.
to have you guys on the show.
so much.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Good seeing you again. Thanks for having us.
McBride and the Ride.
The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.